Hello there, everyone. This is Coin Doctor for Fast Crypto Coins with our market analysis, signs that the crypto bubble will end. Part 2, regulation and governments. One thing we need to realize, cryptocurrency is a global market. So the actions of one central government, while they cannot affect the entire market 100%, can have repercussions across the entire market because we have a tremendous number of participants from China, Korea, Japan, the US, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. And so any action by any central government is going to affect a significant piece of the pie of the investors in the global cryptocurrency space. So what did we learn in 2017? Well, what we learned is when the market was definitely less mature in the summer of 2017, and we started hearing rumors that China would A, try to ban fiat to crypto conversions, or B, try to severely restrict the exchanges, or C, work on ICOs. The market saw tremendous V-shaped drops and recoveries. I think one of the things that has happened since then is we've become more immune to government news, because a lot of times government squawking really ends up being just a rumor. And I think a lot of investors in this space actually thought that a government could ban the blockchain in 2017. Now we know that the government cannot ban the blockchain itself. But the governments can do some things that will stifle the ability of this asset class to grow and therefore for your investment to grow. And you want to watch out for these signs, and that can affect the ability of this market to continue to expand. So what will the governments in Korea and Japan? A couple things that you want to watch for there is the tax treatment of cryptocurrency gains, regulation of exchanges. There are a lot of very poorly run exchanges that do need some degree of regulation to keep them from preying on unsuspecting individual investors. But if the market perceives that that regulation is getting out of hand, then we could have an issue. The United States, of course, is a highly charged legal system, and we'll go over that in more detail. Australia, New Zealand, and Europe are more emerging markets. How will these governments respond? Will they respond in the way China does? Will the market care as these governments begin to respond to some of the same questions that China faced in 2017? The biggest way that governments can stifle this market is making it difficult to convert fiat currency to crypto. We know you can't stop the blockchain. And if anyone out there says that a government's going to ban Bitcoin, then you need to just laugh in their face, because that is not possible. However, governments can affect the appreciation and the use adaptation of these assets. And the way they affect it is they basically can restrict the funnel of entry, which is the conversion of fiat currency to cryptocurrency. Many ways that they can do it. They can legislate that a certain amount of currency can be exchanged at a certain date or time. They could put restrictions on the exchanges. They could bury the exchanges in paperwork and filings for crypto conversions that would make it very difficult for the exchanges to operate, make the exchanges more expensive, and of course, these things get passed on to consumers. Some exchanges might drop out as opposed to following government restrictions. And if you think, well, the government can't do this, remember, the government did pass a law saying that a transaction in a bank, at least in the United States, over a certain amount of money required extra paperwork. So why wouldn't they do this for cryptocurrencies? So we want to watch for this. There could even be in some states, countries, when I say states, I mean countries, individual nations, outright bans on conversion. The rule that cryptocurrency exchanges will no longer be licensed, and that if you're operating illegally. So you want to watch for this, and if you hear it happen in one country, you should be concerned that it could then happen in your country. Governments still, despite or because of their lack of knowledge of this space, will cite the perception of illicit activity and the perception of the use of cryptocurrencies for tax evasion. I believe they are wrong. These chains are used for many other purposes, and I pay my taxes on gains, and I don't do anything illicit with them, and I think the majority of people who hold and invest in this space are in the same boat. Exchange licensure enforcement. Remember, exchanges need to be licensed. However, they can make it much harder to get a license to operate. So in the last slide, we talked about how they can make it harder to actually operate. Now we're going to make it harder for them to enter. So new exchanges that want to add new resources to the system to allow more money in, to allow more people to join, there may be a barrier of entry for new exchanges while they stifle the old exchanges, and the old exchanges can't take on a lot of new business. They could also create new licensure categories. At least in the United States, cryptocurrency is property, not currency. And so who's to say that individual states within the US can't come out and say, oh, well, you need different licensing. We're going to create a special licensing board for crypto trading. It's going to be like our real estate board or our used car dealer board, not like our broker board. So maybe you need licenses in both. They're going to make it harder. They could make it harder and harder for these exchanges to operate. That's either going to increase the cost. That will affect your bottom line. It'll make trades more expensive, or exchanges will pull out. If we see a major exchange in the US, Bittrex or Coinbase, pull out of an individual state because of state legislation that has either been passed or pending, that is a definite sign that the domino effect could take place. So I want you to watch for that going forward, because when one acts, others may follow. Liberal patent enforcement. Again, this is mainly a US problem. It can exist in other countries, but we have a system here where patents are granted when there's an emerging technology. The patent is granted and it's too broad. We saw it in 1999 and 2000. Any kind of broad software patent. Someone could come out and say, basically, I want to make a software that regulates the toasting of toast in a small countertop oven. And they could then sue everybody else that puts out a toaster oven that has a program setting in it. You know, it's ridiculous. And hopefully we have learned from that. But blockchain is open source and shared. These projects that you're investing in don't own patents typically. They just exist because they're run by a bunch of math geeks, not lawyers. And while that's a beautiful thing, eventually when our legal patent troll laden system starts to catch up and realize there's money to be made, these suits will start to take place. Now, patent trolls, what they do is they go and they either get a patent or acquire a patent. They continue to hammer away at the system until they can get one through that is so suitably broad that they then have a decent case and they can extort money from the other side. Whether or not the lawsuit even goes to the end, the simple filing of the lawsuit could make the other side cease and desist, sell, pay a royalty, or otherwise settle. The one that worries me the most is Bank of America. The CEO of Bank of America recently came out saying they have over 30 blockchain patents. And some of these date back a long time. In December of 2017, they were awarded a patent for a crypto-to-crypto exchange that was filed in 2014, meaning they would have the exclusive ability to do crypto-crypto transfers in the United States if this patent was held up. And there were no other companies that I know of, because Coinbase, I think, started in 2015, that were doing crypto-crypto transfers in the United States. Now, I've read the patent. I'm not a patent attorney, but it is exceedingly broad. Basically, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo saying, well, we can use we will assign rates of conversion to all these different currencies, and we can go currency to currency electronically, blah, 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 for our customers. We need to keep an eye on this. They may not choose to enforce it. It may not get anywhere. But the sheer scope of a lawsuit against Bittrex or Coinbase, those companies may not choose to spend the money and the time to try to fight it. And so something could come out. Could be a royalty. They could get bought out. Bank of America could end up owning Coinbase if this patent looks like it's strong. So we don't know. The bottom line is do your own research, look up the patent. It's very easy to find online and see what you think. There's even patents that are being filed that have already been awarded for using blockchain for an election. Okay, so we're starting to see it. And the more the legal system saps the money from this space, the less likely your investment is going to go up in value. So watch for it. Search on a regular basis, maybe weekly. Go through Google, look up blockchain patents, anything along those lines. We still are awaiting the first major patent lawsuit. But if this space continues to expand and become larger and larger and passes the value of Apple and passes the value or approaches the value of major S&P 500 sectors, which would be around the $10 trillion level, then we're going to start to see these suits. I can guarantee it, and that could be the beginning of the end for this space. Central bank adaptation. Central banks, and there's 7 large major, the G7 central banks in the world, they all know they need blockchain. They have all seen Ripple use blockchain for transfers between private banks. Central banks are slow. Central banks are secretive. Central banks typically don't partner with private industry. So they're going to stay very quiet on this matter. But we know they're going to need blockchain. And if they're going to be working on their own projects independently, because there's plenty of engineers out there, and when that first announcement of a central bank having its own blockchain and then offering that technology to other central banks in a consortium, that's going to kill the value of a lot of the private projects out there that have utility for the banking system as a whole. So you have to watch how the mainstream is developing their own blockchain against these individual independent blockchain companies that we're now investing in. Now, on the flip side, central banks may see the threat of this unaccounted for wealth in the world, and central banks may even be secretly buying up digital assets temporarily to hedge the change in value of their own currency until they can develop their own blockchain and until they can further figure it out. So there may be a short-term boost for the value of digital currencies before there is this potential bubble bursting event. So what you need to watch for in the news, and I would say you want to check the news for crypto, government regulation, and government adoption of crypto weekly. Are there restrictions on fiat to crypto transfers that are posed, whether it be at a state level, government level, anywhere in the world? Because again, there's a domino effect. If it's successful in one democratic country, it could be adopted by another. Are we seeing governments, central banks beginning to develop their own blockchains and even cooperate among governments developing similar blockchains that are used within the establishment? And are we seeing patent suits about this in the US? And are those patent suits progressing? Now, a patent suit that then causes the defendant to cease doing business or settle immediately is a win for the patent troll. So keep an eye on that. But if the blockchain companies are defending themselves, it will be a long, slow process as it works through the legal system, and you need to watch that process. Because if the individual blockchain companies start losing these patent battles, then they will all lose value as a whole. Luckily, governments in the legal system move very slowly. So you do have time here. This is not going to be some singular news event that comes out in the middle of the night that's going to burst the whole space. So thanks for watching. We're going to be doing a lot more market analysis like this going forward. Feel free to subscribe and get the latest news on the cryptocurrency space. Remember, cryptocurrency investing and trading carries a significant amount of risk. You could lose your entire investment. Fast Crypto Coins is not a registered investment advisor. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, nor should the discussion of any coin be considered a trade recommendation. You must do your own homework from multiple sources regarding cryptocurrency investment. Please note the date of this video, since cryptocurrency environment can change rapidly without notice, and elements of this video may be extremely time sensitive. This video is considered current only for the date it was posted. Thanks again. Please subscribe. Have a great night.